William Morrow and HarperAudio present The Paris Gown, a novel by Christine Wells, performed by Saskia Maarleveld. To my beloved father, Ian, lawyer, author, historian, you have always been an inspiration to me. Prologue. Claire. Paris, France, 1950. 3 young women stood arm in arm on the Avenue Montaigne, breaths clouding together in the crisp air, shining faces lifted toward a display window at the House of Dior. That one! Claire flung up her free arm as if she were on a stage, introducing the star of the show. That is the one! Gina, a cool, tanned blonde, lifted one eyebrow. Dark, lively Margot nodded vehemently. Oh, yes, most definitely. You must have this one. Window shopping just as the twilight hours settled like a soft veil over Paris was a habit the 3 friends had turned into an art. They met once a week to stroll the fashionable boulevards and feast their eyes on the sumptuous creations displayed in the atelier windows. But for Claire, visits to those other couturiers were mere flirtations. No one compared to Dior. Only look at the embroidery, she breathed, gazing up at this latest creation on display. And the sequins. There must be thousands of them. The gown's train was made of cascading scalloped layers, dotted with sequins and feathered at the edge with iridescent pale pink paillettes designed to shiver and shimmer as one moved. The bodice was strapless, and the whole effect suggested a goddess emerging naked from the sea at dawn. How long must it take to sew a creation like that? Some girls change lovers with the seasons, said Margot with a twinkle in her eye. Claire has passionate relationships with dresses. At least she's monogamous, Gina pointed out. Comment? Though Parisian to the core, Claire had fallen into the habit of speaking English when she was with her friends. Claire's mother had been an Englishwoman. She had passed on her language to Claire, along with her red hair and her fiery temper. But there were some words that Claire did not understand. One gown at a time, explained Gina, and one couturier. Always Dior. Claire sighed and shook her head. I could never afford it. How many times had she said this now? Margot gave her hand a sympathetic squeeze. Claire, an apprentice chef from a middle-class family, was no more likely to purchase this gown than she was the many other creations they'd sighed over together on their outings during the past 2 years. Gina's Connecticut ancestors had sailed on the Mayflower, and Margot's family wealth derived from the Australian wool trade. Their closets were full of couture dresses, which they insisted Claire borrow when they'd taken her out to society events with them. But she'd never had a stitch of clothing from Dior to call her own. The 3 young women had met at Le Cordon Bleu cookery school, from which they had since graduated, though goodness knew how Gina and Margot had managed it. Gina didn't care about food or cooking. She'd spent each lesson lost in thought about the novel she was writing, so her soufflés fell and her sauces split. Margot had been as mercurial in the kitchen as in everything else. Revolted by the prospect of spatchcocking a chicken or gutting a fish, she was a maestro with pastry and chocolate, and had even managed to win praise from their exacting instructor, Monsieur Guillaume. Only Claire was serious about the culinary arts. She'd practically grown up in a family brasserie, after all. Unlike Margot and Gina, Claire had soon developed ambitions well beyond a cookery course that was expressly designed to prepare rich young ladies for marriage. After finishing the introductory course, she'd barged into the professional chef's class and refused to take no for an answer. Eventually, her persistence had been rewarded. Claire had become the lone female student amid rows of arrogant, dismissive men. But now that their finishing was complete, Margot and Gina were returning home. This was the last time the 3 of them would gather together in front of La Maison Dior. As she stared up at the window display, Claire bit her lip. Gina was heading back to New York,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?